the biggest meccas of entertainment in the world. We are so lucky that this place breeds and creates so many amazing artists. Some born here, some come here and build their careers here. And today I have someone who was raised here, who has Miami in their blood, and who represents it very well. He signed to Mr. 305 Records. Let's welcome Chris Daniel. How are you, buddy?
Thank you for having me. What's up? How you feeling?
Excited. Are you kidding? I'm so excited. Our first Miami guy.
Let's go.
In the building.
It's only right.
How are you?
I feel good. How are
yeah?
you? Yeah.
No, I'm good. I'm excited to have you. I feel like we have so much to talk about, primarily because you're from Miami and you just get it. I'll be throwing things at you and you'll be like, I get it, buddy. First off, congratulations on your new single with Austin Mahone.
Thank you.
Tell me more about that.
It really just came together because him and I are friends in real life, and I think that that's important when you're making music. You want to make sure that you like somebody organically, and it comes organic. Versus sometimes in music it comes off and you can hear it when it's forced, like anything in life.
Yeah, for sure. You actually sometimes you talk. I told the guys, I told everyone he signed to Mr. 305, but you have a little bit of like a Pitbull sound. I don't know if Pit's watching.
I think.
Has anybody ever told you that? You sound a little bit like him sometimes. I don't know if it's because you have a bit of Miami accent.
Maybe. I mean, to be honest, Sue, he's been one of my mentors as well, like somebody I've learned a lot from and watch, and he's an inspiration. So I definitely feel like, you grab a little bit from different people and you make your own little thing. But I guess I can see a little bit of the influence for sure.
I see it a lot. And I know you were signed in 2022, correct? How, as an artist, did your career evolve once you were signed to the label, and not just any label? Pitbull's label.
Yeah, it doesn't get more Miami than that.
I know, not just more Miami, but like more real than that.
For sure. I only said that because I represent Miami through and through. So I'm like, this is a dream come true.
Yeah.
But honestly, I mean, it's definitely been the biggest blessing ever because, it's one of those labels where they've been around for a while, but I feel like in the past few years, we've really been growing at a different level. We have artists like Omar Courtz who popped off, and he was with us since 0 monthly listeners and a couple thousand followers.
Right.
You have artists like Lenier who has Como Te Pago and a bunch of other big records that a lot of people know, and you got somebody like Pitbull.
Right.
So I feel like...
And you have someone like Chris Daniel.
Yeah.
Hey.
I feel like for myself as well, a lot of my success has come as a songwriter and as a producer. As an up-and-coming artist, just putting out music like the one we just did with Austin. We may have some other big collaborations coming soon that we could tease a little bit, but now it's been a blessing, and just little by little, I live by the saying that short steps, long visions. So I truly believe in that. As long as we're moving forward, even if it's small steps, at least we're moving forward.
I love that you say that because it's in your bio, short steps, small vision, and then it's in Spanish too, and I saw it and it caught my eye, and actually I had it here and things I wanted to talk to you about. Because I wanted to know, I think we all understand short steps, but what is Chris Daniel's long vision?
My long vision, I think, is a little bit different than just your typical artist because I am involved in everything. So it goes back to the being apart from the root to the fruit, So I think that like being a songwriter and a producer, as Austin said earlier, being a connector, I feel like I have a good ear and I'm good at putting people in the room, putting pieces of the puzzle together. So I think I just want to be the best that I can be, and that doesn't mean financially, that doesn't mean materialistically, it just means like on top of the game, really. Like selfishly, I want to be one of the biggest producers, songwriters, and artists, and a little bit of everything. So
how do you balance those three passions? Because I think when you have various passions and you want to pursue them all because you're good at them, but you also at the same time don't want to be kind of like a jack of all trades, a master of none.
For sure.
How do you manage that so that you're pursuing your passions, you're squeezing the juice out of all the things you've been given, but at the same time, you do want to be really good at all of them or one of them?
I definitely feel like I'm somebody who doesn't like things that are forced. I love organic relationships. I love anything organic I'm down with, So I feel like within the music industry, the same way that I treat genres, I treat, songwriters, producers, everything as pots. And I'm just planting seeds. And little by little, we water it a little bit. We get a little bit of sun. We water it some more. And then we're going to let everything sprout and grow on its own. But like I said, I'm not really forcing it. I really just follow my gut, my heart, and my mind. And if I feel like, all right, today I'm a producer, I'm a producer. If I feel like I'm a songwriter. And I know that everything's on God's time. So I just trust that, to be honest.
And your heritage is Cuban, Puerto Rican, Peruvian, which I think is phenomenal.
Un
First
arroz
of all,
con mango.
no, food-wise.
Oh my gosh.
My God.
For sure.
Who's who at home?
My mom was born in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
My dad's side is Peruvian,
Okay.
but I was raised by a Cuban, and I have Cuban in my blood. So it's like I'm literally a mutt.
Okay.
And I was born in Miami, so it's a whole mix, to be honest.
Do you feel like having grown up within those, because sometimes, you know, there's the Latino umbrella and everyone just stuffs us all into the Latino
Yeah.
umbrella. And it's not like that. We are different.
Of
Peruvians
course.
from Colombians, from Puerto Ricans, we have, todos comemos arroz con frijoles. We're all eating rice and beans, but we're a little different. So do you feel like being part of those three Latin cultures helped shape you career-wise?
1000%.
And music-wise? And
I think one of my favorite things in this entire world is to travel the world, and I feel like a lot of people feel that way. Some people like to stay where they're comfortable, but for me, I can be by myself anywhere in the world. And you know, even in Miami, I'll go to the movies by myself. I'll go
Right.
eat. Like, I love my independence, so I feel like, you know, when I go to travel, it allows me to go experience different cultures, and it's not a culture shock, nor does it scare me, because I was raised around so many different cultures, people. Like, when I'd go to my Peruvian family's house for Christmas or whatever, they're playing a certain type of music, drinking
Right.
sangria, you know, it's different. And then when you go over here to the Puerto Rican family, we're eating this. When I go to the Cuban family, vaca frita. Shout out Mama Maria.
who's Mama Maria?
Mama Maria, she's my Cuban grandma. So I got a Cuban grandma, Peruvian grandma, and a Puerto Rican grandma.
Oh my God.
I don't have any grandfathers, but I have a lot of women in my life.
La vaca frita, el mofongo y que el ceviche.
The vaca frita is where you got me. Every
Dude.
birthday, anything, like, and even if it's not my birthday, but she cooks it, it feels like my birthday.
I just got back from Puerto Rico and I'm obsessed with everything Puerto Rican right now.
You had alcapurria?
I had, no, actually no, the only thing I didn't have was alcapurrias, but I like
So good.
all the other things, amazing.
It's so
Amazing.
good. Did you go to Placita Santurce?
I did.
It's like Wynwood.
Yeah, no, amazing. So you get signed, right?
Yep.
What's like the next step once you get signed to a label like Pitbull's, for example?
I think whether you're independent or you get signed to any label, you got to work just as
Okay.
hard, if not
Okay.
harder, you know?
I love that you clarify that.
Yeah, I think that nobody's going to want something more than you do for you.
Right.
So I feel like blessings aren't going to come knocking on your door, nor your window, nor, you know, you got to go get them. So I feel like with a label specifically, the label heads always want to see you want it, because if they got to beg you to go to a session, you probably shouldn't even be signed in the first place.
Right.
You know, so you should be behind them and being like, which for myself, since I do a little bit of everything, I bring them everything. Like, a lot of artists are very dependent. Since I'm independent and self-sufficient, I record myself. I have my own producers. If not, I produce it myself. I have my writers. If not, I write it myself. So I just give it to them, and the only thing they help me with is the cover art and, you know, putting it out and the PR plans and
Okay.
stuff like that.
So
But
you take a lot of initiative.
for sure, I think you have to.
Is it because you feel like you're controlling of, or not controlling in a negative
Yeah.
connotation, but controlling of, you want to have your foot in everything that happens and the
No.
details of everything? Or is it just because maybe you feel like if I don't do it the way I want to, then it's not going to get done the way I like it?
Yeah, I feel like you just got to do it. Nike, just do it. Like,
Right.
you just got to go and do it for real. Like, and it's not so much of a controlling thing. I think it's just like, with anybody, you can't really wait for people to do stuff. Like, I think it's going to get done better and faster if you just bring it to the table. And, you know, I think that a label and anything in music in general is like a car. You need every single piece of the team to be able to function.
Right.
So it's like, if I can put less on their plate because I can already do this myself, then I can get more of their energy and resources on this side, which I don't have experience in, you know?
What values do you think you were raised with that have helped you shape yourself as an artist and as a successful artist at that was signed and that has made it to this point? Because many people only dream of it so far, and they don't see the way, and you know, you have the way. And what do you think helped shape you?
I think one of the ones that my grandma and my puro always taught me is like, el diablo sabe más por ser viejo
Por viejo que por
que por
diablo.
diablo. And I think that the way that you relate that to the music is like, a lot of times, you know, even as a kid, you know, when you fall and somebody tells you, yo, don't go that way, you're going to slip, but you still do it anyways.
Right.
And sometimes you have to fall a couple times, get back up and be like, you know what, I might take some advice because this might help me out. So I feel like being around certain people, you know, that are 20 years older than me, 25 years older, and just taking the advice has allowed me to grow wiser and older beyond my own years. I always say that I feel like I'm 35 going on 24, you know?
Right.
But I just feel like the one thing you can't buy in life is time, right? You could buy a Rolex, but you can't buy time. We hear that all the time. But the truth of the matter is that if you surround yourself around people who teach you things, all they're doing is buying you time. If they tell you, yo, you go do that, you're gonna slip.
Right.
Versus you skip that, they might have bought you 5 years. It may have taken me till I was 29 to figure it out. If somebody tells me that now, I listen and I apply it, I could be figuring that out by 24 instead of 29, you know, so.
Are there any
That's big.
lessons maybe you can share that you learned the hard way?
I think that maybe in the beginning in the music industry, you're a little naive and like
Okay.
you end up trusting people and letting them in. I think that I've become like very just, I don't want to say guarded at all because I am open to working with new people,
Yeah.
but you know, aware, I would say is a good word. And especially growing up in Miami, you already, you know, you got to always look over
yeah.
your shoulder and make sure that, so I feel like that's definitely helped me, you know, being around certain people who I maybe thought were somebody else and then they showed me the true colors.
Right. I feel like you're very dynamic in your artist persona, let's call it
Yeah.
that. But at the same time, you've admired a Michael Jackson, a Celia Cruz. Like there's
For sure.
influence from very different types of artists and genres.
I can't
Where does
take
that
the credit.
stem like?
I can't take the credit. I give it all to my parents because
Okay.
my parents are young. My mom had me at 17. So, you know, like my dad would always like show me Earth, Wind and Fire, and then he'd switch over the playlist to Biggie Smalls, and then he'd switch it over to Guns N' Roses, and then Celia Cruz and Bob Marley. So I think that that's why I don't have like one specific genre of music. And even if you listen to any of my other records, like I like to blend a lot of different genres because that's the way I grew up on.
They were doing the Lord's work teaching you all that music.
Oh, for sure. Thank God for them. For
Were
sure.
they supportive of you wanting to be an artist? Because Latino parents sometimes, you know, they
Yeah.
worry. They're like, when you're like, Mom, I want to be I want to be on TV, and they're like, oh God, no, but you have to study something. You have to be an engineer too. Go to
Yeah.
go to uni.
No, I think that they were very supportive because they saw my passion in it.
Okay.
You know, I think that if they would have seen that I was just making music, but I was really just trying to sneak out and hang out and
Right.
party, which I did as well. But at the same time, you know, everything in life is a balance.
Right.
And I do feel like with the music, like they saw when I was 15, you know, I would go to school at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning,
Okay.
go to my, you know, job, get any little money I can, and then go spend it or go invest it at a studio so I could have somebody record me. And then, as I mentioned earlier, you know, like interning and stuff like that, I was constantly calling every studio in Miami, like, how can I intern? How can I be a part of this? How can I help? I was the guy taking out the garbage, you know, before it was half full. I was the guy, if I heard you talking about, yo, I'm craving Skittles right now, I was already in the car on the way to the
Okay,
gas station.
okay.
But it wasn't because I wanted to be a do-boy. It's just because I wanted to show my hunger and earn my
Right.
place,
So you've always been someone to show initiative
for sure.
and zero ego.
Zero ego. I think that's the most important thing.
It's key.
For
It's
sure.
key, absolutely. What point in your life did you say, okay, I think music is what I want to do for real, for real?
Oof. Okay, so I always wanted to play sports growing up.
Okay.
And I'm not like 6'7", so I don't think basketball was in my future plans, although I had a super passion for it.
Right.
I was playing football at the time, and I was practicing with some of my friends in the backyard, hanging out, throwing the football around, and I fell on my head, and my boy fell on the other side. I ended up getting like a super severe concussion. I was out
shit.
for like a month. I couldn't go to school, couldn't watch TV, couldn't do anything. And I think from there, I was like, you know what? Instead of banging my body around, I'd rather just go pursue music.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always been passionate about it.
And then what were the first steps you took to do that?
I think really just doing it, like figuring out, you know, I started growing within people in my own community and at my
Okay.
level, being like, you know, whether it's friends in high school that maybe were producing. They weren't that good, but neither was I. So
Okay.
it's like, yo, let's grow together. And some of those people are accountants now. You know, they didn't pursue the music
Right.
route, but I needed them in my journey to be able to get to where I'm at.
They listened to their parents when they said they had to go.
Exactly.
They had to go to FIU and study accounting.
Exactly.
But do you feel like, because it's very interesting that you say that already in school you were connecting with people within music. Do you feel like we attract what we want and you ended up just meeting the right people that were also kind of pursuing the same passions as you?
I think that that's definitely one part. I think it's also like in my nature. I was a very shy kid as like a
Oh.
baby as a kid, but I think I grew out of that for sure because I'm somebody where I'm big on energy. You know, if I feel like you and I connect and we vibe, then right away it's like I'm gonna vibe with you until you give me a reason not to.
Right.
You know, so I felt like I was just always like that. It's, hey, what's up? You make music? All right, let's go to the studio. I'll pay for the session. I got a little job here at Sports Grill. Like, I'll get this over here. And
Is that what you were doing? You were like a server at Sports
yeah, I was
Grill?
a little host and server. I was a banquet server. I was just doing a lot of stuff like that. But I think that also helped me being able to communicate with people. And I'm also one of those people where, like, I ran into Steve Aoki at the airport. I'll go up
Okay.
to him because I'm like, yo, there's no reason why I wouldn't take advantage of this opportunity or make the most of it if the universe and God is putting them in my circle right now.
You got one shot.
Yeah. What's the worst they're gonna say? No.
Right.
Like, is that word doesn't hurt me. So.
Is that how that opportunity happened and you got signed? How did you? Because now
Man.
I feel like it was you probably pulled one of those and then like, you know, they were like, this kid really wants it.
To be honest, I've kind of always been around the industry, and just like little by little, I've made this connection and made that one. There's somebody named I Am Chino, so shout out to him.
Of course.
Yeah, shout out Chino.
Saludos, I Am Chino, of course.
Yeah, so he's a, you know, for the people who don't know, Pitts Road DJ, he's like one of his main producers, basically his right hand man when it comes to the music. But with him, I started, you know, learning from him. And even when he was performing in Calle Ocho, I was throwing out T-shirts and I was passing out flyers and really whatever he needed me to do. So I just started gaining his trust and gaining the trust within the team. Then I got an opportunity with Jim Johnson, which is a huge producer. And I had the opportunity after high school. It's either go to Full Sail and get a real degree, or come over here and live with Jim Johnson for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and help him develop me as a producer. Because when I interned for him, he offered me that opportunity.
And you've also since then collaborated with Farruko, CeeLo Green, which I think is massive. I have here T-Pain.
Yeah.
How was that? Because I feel like as Latinos, we have that where, I mean, we're excited to collab with anyone, but once it's like someone like, you know, like for me, example, for the day that I collab with Oprah, I just something with like, oh my God, I'm here with Oprah. You know what I mean?
Made it.
It's like, yeah. So how was that?
Sure. I think that obviously, for sure, let's start. It's a blessing. You know, thank God for even putting me in that position in the first place. It's like I've learned that you can't get too high, you can't get too low. So like you got to enjoy the journey, but at the same time, you can't go and spend every dollar in your bank account to go pop bottles to be like, yo, I did a song with T-Pain. You know, you can celebrate it and you can be extremely happy, which I was and am, and I'm proud of it. But at the same time, in the music industry, like, it's a balance because you want to live in the moment and enjoy it, but at the same time, you're always thinking like, all right, what's next?
Right.
What's next? What are we doing? Okay, we did this song with T-Pain. Let's work on an Akon record tomorrow.
Right.
Or let's, you know.
Literally, right? Yeah. Manifest. No, the thing is, T-Pain is like a legend.
Oh, I love
like,
T-Pain. Yeah.
You're like 10 years young. No, you're like 8 years younger than me. Like T-Pain was already huge when I was like 12. You were maybe like 5.
Yeah,
me too. Are you kidding? And especially being in Miami, I think it's also just very exciting.
And let's not get it twisted. Like when I heard that T-Pain was getting on the song, I was like, what? And then when I heard the verse, I'm like, yo, what? Like, trust me, I was definitely excited and shocked. And I love working with different artists. I love that like when we can all put our creative minds together, and it's cool. I didn't get to be in the studio with T-Pain, but with CeeLo Green, I was in the studio with him. Right. We made the Farruko record, which just went platinum a couple months ago. That was made in the Dominican Republic at a writer's camp. So it's kind of cool how like every song comes about in its own way.
What advice would you give to kids that want to get into it?
It's going to be very simple, but just do it. You know?
Really?
Yeah, just do it. You got to start somewhere. You know, I listen back to songs that I did 10 years ago, and they are atrocious, and I wish that they never existed. But I needed those records to be building blocks to get me to where I'm at today.
Got it.
And you may make 100 songs and only like one, but it's like going to the gym and just hitting reps. You have to go and just hit the reps.
Right. So it's a definite, from what you're saying, that when you hold yourself back because it's not perfect, you're doing yourself a disservice. Just do it, even if it's imperfect.
Yeah. I mean, perfection, normal, happiness, these are words. Success, these are words that we can't define. Right. You have your own version of them. I have my own version of them. And whoever's listening has their own version of it as well. So I don't really think that you need to chase perfection, because perfection doesn't exist, right?
Right.
And even going back to the word chase, the moment you chase something, that just means that it's running. So we want to attract things. We want to do what we're passionate about, and with people we're passionate about, who are also passionate about it, you know?
Right.
And, you know, people you like hanging out with, the same way with Austin. Austin and I hang out on a real level. Like, we're not doing it for the cameras. Like, yo, bro, I need you to call me your brother, and I need us to talk about, like, make it look like we're super cool together. Nah, if you see us and you catch us on the street, we're joking around, and, you know, we're a little bit more unhinged because I don't know how much we could get away with here, but, you know, we're always hanging out and making certain jokes and stuff. But, yeah, that's the homie.
Chris, what genres would you want to get into? And the reason why I ask you that is because I feel like we're at a place where we're continuously seeing artists kind of like experiment more and more. I think when we see a Rauw Alejandro putting out a Cosa Nuestra, when we see a Bad Bunny putting out a Debí Tirar Más Fotos, we're like, wow, these artists are really going the distance and willing to really step out of their comfort zones and dig deep into genres where they might not even know if they're going to be accepted or if they're going to do it correctly.
Yeah.
Are there
I
any
agree.
genres, especially you being that, like, you know, you're again Peruvian, Puerto Rican,
Yeah.
Cuban, you have that in your blood.
So as I mentioned earlier, I was in a country band.
Uh-huh.
Right? So I've been blessed to be able to try a little bit of everything.
Right.
When I was in high school, I did hip hop, which I figured just wasn't for me. I didn't really relate too much with that world. But I did the country band. I love Nashville. It's still, in my blood. I go to Nashville a few times a year. It's like a second home to me after Miami. Then after that, I was really trying to figure out what my sound would be. And I started messing with different genres. So I started mixing like rock with pop with English and Spanish. So like alternative pop and Spanglish. And now I'm making straight pop music. I always try a little bit of everything. I have a song coming out with one of the Marleys, which is reggae. Yeah.
You're kidding.
I have Bob Marley tattooed right here.
You're
so that session
joking.
was something that I was like, bro, what is happening?
Can you spell a little bit more on that? Because that is amazing.
I don't know how much exactly I could say, but I will say shout out to Julian Marley for giving me the opportunity. Shout out to White Boy for putting me in the session. And the song's amazing,
That's legendary.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
We're literally, it's a weed song with the Marleys.
Okay,
it doesn't get more,
Yeah.
legendary than that. So
No, that's insane. How do you feel about regional Mexican? Because regional Mexican is still having its moment. Like it popped off 2-3 years ago, and it's just like still.
I think that's one of those that I don't know if it's necessarily for me because I wouldn't even know how to approach it, to be honest. Like I feel like I'd be doing the genre a disservice. At least these other ones, I could put my own flavor on it. Now, the only way I could do it is if a ranchero artist or if a corrido artist were to come and hit me and they're on the record as well, and I could do a verse and
like
throw
with
my
a
own.
Peso Pluma or something like
something
that.
like that for sure. Going back to your other question though, as far as like what genre I'd like to get into,
man,
I'd love to bring back funk.
Really?
Yeah, my parents love funk. Everywhere from James Brown to Earth, Wind and Fire, like we were talking about earlier, Prince.
Right.
So it's like I feel like that's missing. Everything's kind of starting to come back, but I don't know if that feeling of funk that just feels good is.
You know what? Who else I saw that really made me fall in love again with like jazz? Have you seen Jean-Baptiste?
I have. Yeah,
he's amazing. Yeah. And literally, I was like, wow, like the way this guy takes jazz and just he kind of like democratized the sound so much where he just makes it look so like cool and feel good and everything. So I agree with you that like funk, jazz, like that we need more musicians to. Que apuesten por eso, that they really like go in and like tap into those genres.
Yeah. I think that really there is no barriers. I actually find it kind of funny because being in the music industry, you want to try to identify with something because they tell you, yo, what's your sound? I always tell them music. Like I just make. What do you make? I make music, and it's actually quite funny because everybody always tells me I look like Mac Miller. So I walk through Publix.
You so do. Stop. Did you know that the whole time I was like, who does he look like to me?
I've gotten Mac Miller and the guy from Euphoria, both of them, rest in peace. But I promise I get stopped at Publix gas stations all the time and I get told this. So it's kind of funny because then they'll be like, yo, you sound like Mac only because I look like him. Or they'll be like, yo, you sound a Pit's label. Oh, you sound like Pitt,
Right.
But I feel like it's important to be able to grab inspirations from everybody.
No, absolutely. And I mean, if you sound, it's not like you walked in trying to sound like Pitt. No, like, I mean, if you kind of sound like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
But yeah, that is hilarious.
Amazing.
I'm always like, bro, what is happening? Like,
yeah. So you're celebrating the summer. You put out It's Summer with Austin. What's the rest of the summer going to look like for you?
I mean, to be honest, the summer's kind of ending, but as we always say, it's summer in Miami. Summer never ends, right? It's year round. Even in winter when it should be cold, I kind of wish it was a little bit of a breeze. It's still hot and humid. So really just continuing to make music, put good stuff out. We have a release party and really just trying to promote It's Summer as best as possible. We have a remix pack coming out for It's Summer.
Love that.
We got a lot of really dope DJs that I vibe with and I felt like would be really good for this song to do remixes. We got some Afro house, some tech house, some deep house. So it's gonna be exciting.
That's amazing. Well, just say hi to the camera. Look at camera number 1. give us your social media and tell us where we can listen to It's Summer.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to you, and I want to say thank you to Basico for having me. My name's Chris Daniel. You can listen to It's Summer everywhere, and you can find me at I am Chris Daniel.
Amazing. And there you have them, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Brutally Speaking. Today we had Chris Daniel join us in the studio. Go listen to It's Summer, and I'll see you next time.